Hi, Professor Google here. Welcome to my computer shortcuts. Today we will be looking at Microsoft Word. Word is a word processor. You will be using it to write letters, documents, faxes, in fact everything that uses words on a page. But before you start your first novel, we must first learn how to start Word. And then we will have a look at the screen elements. And finally, we will learn how to exit Word. So now, follow along with my video expert who will explain these things to you.
There are a number of ways that you can start Word 97. You might have an icon on the desktop that you can open. You might have the Microsoft Office shortcut bar displaying, and you could start a new blank Word document from there. But I guess most of us use the Start menu down in the bottom left corner of your Windows 95 desktop. So come down onto Start and click on that once. Come up to Programs and click. And I'm going to choose Microsoft Word from the next menu level. Yours could be further across in the menus. You might have to move through a couple of menus to find Microsoft Word. Click once to start the Word program. Now we're going to have a bit of a cruise around the screen looking at the various elements that make up the Word screen. Right up the top you have the title bar that tells you that you're in Word, and it also gives you the name of the current document. Currently I'm in an empty, unnamed document, so it just says Document 1. Over towards the top right corner of the screen we have the three buttons for minimising, restoring and closing Word. Now the X in the top right corner actually closes Word. If we come down, there's another set of three icons: close, restore and minimise, and these are for the current document. Over to the left we have the menu bar. Most of the Word options can be found within the menus, and we'll be using the menus as we go along through the course. Below the menu bar we have the standard toolbar, and that contains shortcuts for general purpose sort of actions like opening a file, closing a file, moving text around. As you point to a button on that standard toolbar, you get a tip on the end of your mouse pointer telling you what that button does. Below the standard toolbar is the formatting toolbar, and that's for formatting your document. There's another toolbar that I have showing at the moment across the bottom. That's the drawing toolbar. I've also got a ruler showing on my screen. Across the top and down the left you'll notice measurements. These are the ruler showing you where you are on the page. If your ruler isn't showing, or if you want to turn the ruler on or off, you can click on the View option up on the menu and come down and click on Ruler. Mine has a tick against it indicating that my ruler is currently on. If I choose Ruler, my ruler disappears. If I want to turn it on again, go back to the View menu and choose Ruler. We'll be using the ruler later on in the course for setting tabs and for changing paragraph indents. Over to the right of my screen I have a vertical scroll bar, and I can use that for moving through a document, and we'll be doing that later on. At the bottom of the vertical scroll bar is a series of buttons, double-headed arrows for next or previous page, and a Browse option button. We'll be looking at how to use that Browse object button later on in the course. Across the bottom of the screen I have a horizontal scroll bar which I can use for moving left or right through a wide page where my page is not all visible at the same time. And very important, over to the left of the horizontal scroll bar is a series of buttons for changing view in your document. Normal view, online layout view, page layout view and outline view. Once again I'm just pointing at those buttons to get the tip telling me what the button actually does. And right down the bottom of the screen, just above the Windows 95 taskbar, I have my status bar, and that's where I can see that I'm on page 1 of my document, I'm on page 1 of one page. Over here I can see exactly where I am on the page. If I print out, that's where my text is going to appear. And further over to the right of the status bar are a number of grey indicators that might come on as you're using various features. Extend selection, for example, we'll see later on when we're editing a document. Overtype, to go into overtype mode when you're typing your text. Let's move the mouse pointer now over the white area of the screen. This is your text area. And when your mouse is positioned over the text area, the mouse pointer is an I-beam. That tells you that you can type or edit text. You can click to position the mouse and you can type your text. You must have an I-beam to be able to type in your document. I have a flashing insertion point, a bar flashing up and down. That's my insertion point, and that's where the text I type will actually go in the document. Always watch for your insertion point. It's different to the mouse pointer. The mouse pointer is the I-beam. The position where your text actually goes is the insertion point. If I move my mouse back up over the toolbar area, you'll see that the mouse pointer changes to an arrow, as opposed to the I-beam when I'm over the text area. Over to the left of my text area is it's like the left margin. It's actually called the selection bar, and you'll see that the mouse pointer changes to a different sloping arrow, a selection arrow. And when we come into the lesson on editing a document, you'll learn how to use the selection bar. You'll also notice on the screen at the moment I have the Office Assistant, the Clipit Office Assistant, who's sitting there, and he's going to help me as I start using Word. Up on the toolbar, towards the end of the toolbar, is a Show Hide button, a few in from the right. If you click on that button, you actually see on the page, wherever you have pressed enter, press the space bar or press the tab key. You can see here that I have one paragraph mark. It's like a backward P, indicating an enter. If I press the enter key again, I get another one. Press my tab key and I get horizontal arrows. Press my space bar and I get dots. These are non-printing symbols. They don't appear in your printed document. They are simply features that can help you see how your text got where it did on the page. They're called the show hide symbols. I'm just going to backspace those few symbols out that I've just entered in using my backspace key. Once again, if you want to turn that show hide on or off, it's a simple click on the button, on the show hide button, up the top right corner of the screen. Now, it's all very well to be able to start Word, but it's pretty important that you can exit from Word when you've actually finished your work. And there's a couple of ways that you can do this. One method is to go to the File menu, and right down the bottom is an option for Exit. I'm not going to click on it now, I just want you to see that the Exit option is there. I'm going to click on the File option again to turn off that menu. If you like using the keyboard, the keystroke to exit from a Windows program is Alt and F4. That's the Alt key while you tap Function key 4. But the method I'm going to use is the close icon up in the top right corner of the Word window. Right up in the top right corner, not the one for the current document, but the one for Word itself. If I click once on that, because I've been typing in my document, the Office Assistant has come up and said, do you want to save the changes that you've made to the document? And I'm going to click on No. And that takes me right out of Word back to the Windows 95 desktop. Please start Word again before the next section.